Hey guys, it's so great to see you again. I am back home in my normal house instead of at my parents in the basement. So here you go. Also, you can see one of my dogs on the bed. We got slight dog cam going on here. So I don't know if you guys noticed, but there was a video going around the last couple of weeks of a man who went on a date with this black woman. He took her to the Cheesecake Factory, which I've never been to the Cheesecake Factory because I live in Canada and I don't even think we have any. I think it's just like a normal restaurant, but I am surprised anyone would reject going into a restaurant. The only time I could see that happening if you weren't dressed properly, or if you were dressed up like in your wedding dress and they were like, hey, let's go to the Cheesecake Factory after a wedding, romantic dinner. I don't know why she would reject going there, but you know what, let's watch the video.
Yes.
Would you want me to open the door for you?
Okay.
Already? I'm sorry. Already? Like, what? What is happening? Is this her car? What is this? He knocks and then she rolls the window down. She's like, yes, what is it? It's like, was he not driving you there? Like, this is so stupid. Like, I don't know why it's so dramatic.
Are you recording me?
Yeah. Yeah. This is the Cheesecake Factory. This is the Cheesecake Factory, y'all.
What's the problem with that?
This is a chain restaurant.
Oh, get the
Who
shit.
takes someone that looks like this to a chain restaurant?
You want to talk about it? I'm fine with talking about it, even in front of them.
Who takes someone like this to a chain restaurant? Do you not see all this? Do you not see all this? Like, do you not see all this? What? Like, what? Sorry, I feel like she should have did that. She should be like, do you not see all this?
I want to talk about it.
Yeah.
Come on, get up on in the car. Yeah, we're going to talk about it. Oh, okay.
She even locked the door. She locked the door. And he's like, oh, okay, fine, I'll let you in. Oh, God. I wish I could just leave it locked. I'll just stay in here forever.
Okay. So,
yes, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it.
so you expect a man to go all out on the first date? Is that right?
I mean, you're supposed to. When you take out a beautiful woman and you're courting her, because I get courted. So you're courting her, right? You're supposed to take care of her. You're supposed to cover her. You're supposed to protect her, cherish her, treat her well, right?
Yeah.
That's what you're supposed to do.
I agree. I
At the
went
Cheesecake
into this
Factory?
date as I expect, with the expectations for myself, to keep you safe, to respect you, to pay for your food, of course, pick you up, of course, and just treat you like a gentleman, which I believe I have done.
I mean, you've been pretty nice, but I mean,
And then
Cheesecake Factory.
I, on the other hand, have certain expectations for a girl I go out with on the first date. I expect her to be respectful too. I expect her to be cooperative, and at least
What did I do that wasn't cooperative?
well, I mean, like even when we were walking to the car, you wouldn't put your hand around my arm or anything like that, or hold my hand or anything like that.
I mean, it's too early for that.
Okay.
What? Why are you bringing that up? What? You wouldn't put your hand around my arm? Okay, whatever, dude. I don't understand why that's one of the things you bring up.
I can respect that. I can respect that. when I got to your apartment to pick you up, you didn't want to invite me in. I can respect that too. We're not
Again,
maybe
I don't
we're not
know
there
yet.
Okay.
Why are you bringing up stuff that doesn't matter, or are you saying you can respect that? Okay. It's probably because he's being recorded. He's like, I don't want to come off weird, so he's being like very careful and being like very just, yes, it's very nice. Don't worry, pat, pat, pat. But he's really coming off weak here. Like so far, this is super weak.
And then, but
I mean, I feel like I'm doing everything I'm supposed to do as a woman.
but
I got myself all made
There's nothing
up.
wrong with the Cheesecake Factory, right?
Yes, there's a lot wrong with the Cheesecake Factory.
Okay, well look.
Do you not just feel this? Is it just me? Because I'm saying I feel weakness from him. Like, he doesn't come off as like a strong person. He comes off as like just weak. Like, just like very passive. It's like, oh, and then she's sort of like, I ain't going to no Cheesesteak Factory. I ain't whatever. She's exuding like this strength and absurdiveness, and he's just coming off like, it's just such a difference. It's just a simple fact. She's in his goddamn car and was like, yes, rolling with yes, and then unlock the door for him and everything. Like, she is in so much control, and he is just like in reaction and just trying to like, I don't know, like just everything she's putting down is like, whoa.
I mean,
Look at my plan where we were gonna go originally.
see, now that's where we should have went. All right, right there. Call him. Call him.
No.
What do you mean no?
See,
I know you
specifically
didn't.
told you both yesterday and this morning that I'd come to pick you up at 4 a.m. At 4 p.m. Right?
Mm.
And I got to your place at 4 p.m. You didn't even come downstairs for another hour, and so I was waiting downstairs.
I understand.
For an hour, right?
But I wasn't expecting for work to take me so long. I got home a little late. And like I said, I don't know you well enough to invite you up into my apartment.
And
That is not possible.
And that's why I'm saying, I'm thinking, okay, if we're not there in the relationship to, meet at your apartment, then maybe we're not ready in a relationship for such a nice, fancy restaurant as Aria. Especially if I'm paying for the whole thing.
Okay. I like what he's doing here. He's actually like kind of asserting himself in a like he's not overexerting himself. He's just trying to nicely assert himself. Okay, I respect that he's doing that. Her thing is just interesting. Oh, your work took long. I got home late. I don't feel comfortable inviting you up. Okay, fair enough. But like, if work took long and all this stuff, why don't you like text him and like let him know, hey, I'm gonna need more time. I mean, maybe she did, but it just seems like he was waiting for an hour, which is super rude. Like, why are you even there still, bro? Like, you should have just left. Like, he's obviously really into her or doesn't get many dates. I don't know.
Which I'm still willing to do.
I
I
mean-
would have been. But if we're late, I told
we
you
weren't
twice.
late. It wasn't that late.
We literally left your place at the time the reservation was supposed to be. And I specifically said 4 because maybe we could get there early and even have some time to get to know each other on the way there and while we're in the parking lot.
I mean,
I'm waiting for a reservation.
we can still get to know each other. Isn't there another restaurant you can call that, like,
No.
equivalent to that? I mean,
I
you
literally
don't
just said-
understand. Look at me. I cannot go in the Cheesecake Factory.
There's nothing wrong with
I
that.
will die. That's
Okay.
embarrassing.
Listen, as I said, I have very specific certain expectations for that.
No.
I can tell it's not gonna be there. And maybe we're not right for each other. So respectfully, I'm gonna just drop you off at home.
Oh, no, he didn't.
That was the right call, my friend. That was the right call. You got there. I like this. This was the right call. She's clearly like really just like full of herself. This is the right call. You don't want to be in a relationship with somebody like that.
Yeah, I'm up.
So you just want to call it a night? I mean,
Yeah.
isn't there some kind of compromise or something? Ladies, can you believe this?
Some kind of compromise? You wasted an hour. He took you to the freaking Cheesecake Factory, which was a compromise. You refused to get out of the car, and then you like had to be like, let's have a conversation. And then you're recording it and living it or whatever the hell you're doing. And then you're like, can there be a compromise? What? You already escalated it by taking out your phone and recording it. Maybe if you didn't record it, you're just like, hey, I'm not really comfortable going to the Cheesecake Factory. I mean, I did dress up, whatever, blah, blah, blah. You know, you could have the conversation. But instead, you rolled down the window like a bitch. It was like, yes. And then unlocked the door for him and all this other shit that you were doing. And then you're like, isn't there some sort of compromise? You have handled it in such a shitty way that it's too late.
Sorry, y'all.
Please,
but
out the parking space.
If I don't feel respected, I am not gonna go through with the rest of the day.
Well, I mean, you are serious. You're really leaving.
Yeah. I mean, you didn't want this place anyway, right?
I mean, I understand that I was late. I understand that. I understand that I could have been a bit more cooperative. You made some good points. That's why I'm willing to compromise. Are you sure you want to go home?
I don't have a lot of rules. I don't have a lot of expectations for a first date, but I've already set them, and you've broken every one.
Oh
So,
my God.
Like, hold on. Like, what is the game plan here? Like, seriously. Like, somebody help me understand this, okay? You're out on a date. You don't like the place that you're going or whatever, and you start live streaming and lock yourself in the vehicle, okay? If you lock yourself in the vehicle and start live streaming, on what planet does that give the impression that this person is like wanting to have a relationship with you? Because ultimately you go through this whole thing, you have this talk, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Then she's like, oh, you're really going to take me home? What if he was like, actually, you know what? I'm not going to take you home. Let's go out for a dinner and you guys go on a date. Okay. You have your date. Are you actually going to date that guy because you just freaking live streamed this? And that everyone will know you were out with this guy and he was such a whatever. They're going to like make fun of him and say a bunch of shit about him. And he's your partner. He's your boyfriend now. He's the guy you dated. It doesn't make any sense. Like, you... The only way this makes sense to me, is she got dressed up. She didn't want to go in the Cheesecake Factory, but she wanted to go out because she's like, I'm dressed up. So even with this shit going on, she's like, I'm dressed up. I at least want a meal out of this. I want an experience. And then I'll never talk and see him again. That's the only way this makes sense to me. She's just going to use him for the food, the dinner, the date, whatever, and then she's done. Like, I don't know. You guys tell me if you see something else here, because that's what I see. Okay, so that was just kind of a train wreck, but also very enlightening. We learned a lot about her. Yeah, we learned a lot about her and a lot about him. I just said herm, which is like a combination of her and him, I guess. Hey, is that a new word we could use? Herm. Then I don't have to use two words. All right, let's watch the interview that they did, or at least the interesting parts. I'm going to pre-watch it and only show the interesting parts because it looks like it's 30 minutes. So we're not going to watch all of that.
I don't know if you guys have saw the viral video, but there's a viral video where a woman is taken to the Cheesecake Factory and she does not want to go inside of there. She does not want to be embarrassed. This conversation ended up going viral, and here we are. Alicia, it is a pleasure to meet you.
Yes, thank you.
Jay, pleasure to meet you. I'm sure you guys have gotten a lot of flack, maybe even some backlash and things of that nature from this video going viral.
well,
Yeah, before we get into it, we're going to take a moment and just relook at that video. It's been a couple of weeks, so.
What is happening right now? Just what? This guy is like slouched over, just like sitting on a couch like this. Like, what is this? Like, what is happening? Why? Why are you like this? Why? Just like defeated. Like no presence, no presence. And then she's sitting there like, just, you know, straight up with like actual presence and like assertiveness and like posture. Like, I don't know. I guess this is an extension of like what we saw in the car. Like him standing up for himself in the car, like, and how he's like, I'm going to take you home. And he got there. That was, I feel like, the most assertiveness he had in his body. And it all came out in that motive. In that moment.
Now here we are, a few weeks later. I'm sure you've had some time to think about what you guys discussed in the car. I'm sure you've had some time to think about it. Before I ask you any questions, have you guys had a second date?
No.
No second dates.
Not yet.
Okay.
Why would they have a second date? What's wrong with you? Oh my God. She posted it on the live stream and she probably feels embarrassed by him and he probably feels embarrassed by her. Like, Jesus.
So I'll start with you, Jay. What has dating been like for you since that video went viral?
Since I was on the video, kind of unexpected, I might not have put my best foot forward, you know? And so I feel like, I've not really met anyone since who I've really gotten to get to know like that, because a lot of women, they might have seen the video or might have heard from it, or maybe a friend of them has seen the video and shares it with them. And so they kind of had this image of me based on the video.
Absolutely.
And it hasn't really helped.
Okay. What do you mean, like, he didn't put his best foot forward in the video? Okay, I'm not a woman, but as a guy, I was like, he was polite to her. He wasn't rude to her. He explained his side. He should have did it more assertively. He should have stood up for himself better. But he got there and he did it, you know, and kudos to him for actually getting there and doing it, okay? It was hard. It was live streamed. We get it. Like, and she's an assertive woman. So, I mean, it's not just easy. Like, she's not a meek person. So I think he did a fairly good job. And I think there'd be a lot of people who would like to date somebody like that, who shows that they have self-respect for themselves. And when somebody is treating them that way and acting that way, that they're just like, look, I'm good. And I'm out. I don't know how he's getting this thing. Like, I guess there's obviously women that are siding with her or in some fashion. But I just feel like you don't want to date those women, man. You don't want to date those women. They sound shallow as F. Like, oh my God.
Okay.
Exactly. It's like they might think everything about me is reflected in that video, and I don't think it is. And but yeah, it's been difficult.
Sure.
Well, and it's even before this, you know, dating has already been difficult for me. You know?
I imagine your views kind of clash with what you're looking for and what they're looking for.
Yeah, I think so. Because, I mean, I think in general, my values kind of reflect wanting to build something that lasts.
Yes, sir.
And I want to make sure that anyone that I meet is willing to build a really strong foundation based on our mutual values.
Okay, this guy needs help. Like, I'm looking at the black dude, the interviewer there, and I'm thinking he's sitting like pretty confidently, has a good presence. This guy should say something to him, because this dude he doesn't look good, man. He looks defeated. He just looks like he has no confidence, and he didn't look like he had confidence in the video. And I was surprised that he kicked her out of the car.
Understood. So obviously, guys, Jay's saying that they're viewing him in a negative light when it comes to dating. When I saw Jay, I saw someone who was making some excellent points, who knew what he want, and he's actually now like a Giga Chad in the manosphere world, in the red pill.
Yeah, he's a Giga Chad, and apparently nobody wants to date him. The guy lacks confidence. But you know what I like about what the host is doing here? It's saying, hey, you're a Giga Chad, blah, blah, blah. These men look up to you. Maybe that will instill some confidence and some, inspire him, be like, yeah, I feel good about myself.
Community. The brother's being mentioned everywhere for the way he handled that conversation. Now I'm going to ask Alicia as well, because during this conversation, Alicia.
Thank you.
We'll get that right. Okay, so.
Oh my god. Okay, I like, why? Alicia. No. It's Alicia. Okay, get it right. Alicia. Alicia.
Alicia, you didn't seem to really disagree with what he was saying. Now, you had a definitely a different opinion before he gave you his mind, right? But you seemed very receptive to it. Can you explain to me kind of what you were thinking and how you saw him in that video? Because he's saying they took him in a negative light. What do you think?
Well, yes, I think once we had the conversation, I could see my role in the conflict.
Okay, okay.
Girl, you didn't have a role. You were the conflict. You were the conflict. You were like 99% of the conflict. I don't know what the guy did wrong. I literally don't know what he did wrong. Point to me something he did wrong, other than not being confident. That's not, he did something wrong. But you, like, Cheesecake Factory, live stream, lock car, look at this. It's like, what?
Back up a little bit. To be fair, I mean, I was always raised that the man is supposed to cater to you. I mean, you're courting me.
I'm courted. Okay, I'm not dated. Okay, I'm courted. I'm a princess.
So court me. That means wherever I want to go, you take me.
Absolutely.
Marry her, divorce her, take her to court. There you go. She'll be courted.
Whatever I want, you buy me. That's courting. I'm looking for a But after the conversation, I could see how there was a lot of
Okay.
in that exchange.
Absolutely.
I was definitely very self-centered, and I can appreciate if I do want someone to provide for me, I at least gotta be a little bit nice.
Now I'll ask you this, based on your idea of dating before your conversation with Jay, how did you grow up? Who also thinks that way? I'm sure you have friends who think that way. I've heard it a lot.
I mean, everybody. I mean, that's what he's supposed to be the provider.
Just because a guy is supposed to be a provider doesn't mean you get everything you want. It's not like because he's the provider equals 100% of what I want I get. That's not how it works. And then there's the other side of the coin. Yeah, the guy's providing, but the woman's still doing things. She has responsibilities. So what are you doing?
And I'm a beautiful woman, so I'm expecting to be treated like royalty. I mean, come on. So that's what I was doing.
How do we?
It's the first freaking date. He doesn't even know you. And he was going to take you to some fancy restaurant, apparently, which boggles my mind because you don't even know this person and you're already spending that money. She hasn't done anything. You don't even know if you're a good match. Like, save that money for the person who's worthy of it. Go on a few dates with her first. Then feel it out and be like, you know what? She's the bomb.com. She's the bee's knees. She's the shit. Then you're like, I'm going to take her to that expensive restaurant because she deserves it because she is amazing. And because you spent time with her already. But when you haven't done anything, why are you doing this?
And that's where the disconnect was.
Right.
In the video, now of course I'm sure you think of it differently now, but in the video you basically told him that, you know, you're not going in there, you know your value. It would be embarrassing for you to go inside a Cheesecake Factory. A lot of people like Cheesecake Factory. Now, so when I see that video, I'm thinking, okay, she must have some friends who probably would disagree with her going inside a Cheesecake Factory. Your peer group. So peer pressure probably keeps you from.
I would never live that. Oh my God! I would have never lived that down.
Wow! I mean, date the Cheesecake Factory. They wouldn't let you live that down.
No, I have an image to protect.
Oh, shut up! Oh my God! Oh my God! Can you imagine dating somebody like this? Like literally, it would just be. I need this, I need that, that's my image. I expect a BMW 6 Series, and I need, you know, the biggest house, and I need the biggest ring, and I need blah, 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 blah. That's all it would be, because I have an image, you know, I need a big-ass diamond. I need a 5-carat diamond on my big rock on my finger, because, you know, people got to look at it. It's just, oh... It's just superficial shit. It's not even about him. She's like, oh, the Cheesecake Factory. What about the dude? Aren't you trying to get to know him? Like, I'm frustrated.
Wow. Does not do that. I mean, that was, you know, that was my circle, though. That's how, I mean, that's what...
Your circle sucks.
That's how we roll.
Sure.
I mean, to be quite blunt, that's how we roll.
And your circle gonna keep you single for a long, long time.
Hypergamy is a big, you know, is a big thing in my circle. Is what, I mean, it's what we've been taught.
Hypergamy is a big, big thing in my circle and what we've been taught. What the F right now? You're literally saying that this guy you went on a date with, he's going to do certain things for you. He's going to provide for you. But if somebody comes along who's going to provide a little bit better for you, you're going to go with that guy. Shut the front door. Shut the front door. I'm just like, whatever. She's like some red pill chick. She's a red pill chick, but she's bossy. She's not submissive. But she wants all the red pill shit, like hypergamy. They always talk about hypergamy. Women always trading up. And then, but like wants to be assertive instead of like taking direction from the man. Just lost. I'm so lost right now.
I mean, as a black woman, I'm going to go there. I mean, as a black woman, we're really tired of having to settle. We want to be treated well. Mm-hmm. We want that soft life. So... That's what I thought I was going after.
The fuck? I'm so... As a black woman, we want to be treated well. Okay, okay. This is all black community stuff, but like, who wants to date somebody like this? Seriously, it's like so self-defeating. I want the soft life. I demand this. I demand that. It's just like nobody wants to deal with this. Nobody. Maybe like you went to another extreme. Like perhaps you can say like, hey, you know, black men weren't looking after us, weren't taking care of us or whatever, right? In the community. Fine. Okay. It's your own thing. But then you like went the other extreme. You went the other extreme. And then you're like, why don't these people want to date me?
However, what I understand is a part of having a soft life is being cooperative.
Being soft.
Not being combative,
You're
right?
Actually being soft.
Right.
Right? Being receptive,
Right.
being sweet.
Absolutely.
Being pleasant.
Well, guys, he made the right call not going out with her. I think by the end of this interview, and I cut out a bunch of it, they went over like, hey, how did they meet? They actually met like in a bar, and he approached her. Nobody else was talking to her. And they had a conversation. She gave him his number after talking for a while. And then they went out on this date like a week later. They didn't even meet online. I thought they met online. They actually met like in a face-to-face way, a more natural, I guess, way. So her reaction was even weirder then. Like, oh my God. And apparently he even brings up at the end of the interview that when he picked her up, she was still putting makeup on in the car and not responding and answering his questions. And that was before the video happened. This whole thing is ridiculous. I feel like by the end of this interview, she might have learned something. I thought this was pretty eye-opening, very ridiculous, so I'm curious to hear what you guys think. Please comment down below, and we will see you again next time.